There is one mistake that has destroyed more peace, more dreams, and more lives than almost any other. It isn't failure. It isn't rejection. It isn't bad luck. It's trusting the wrong person too soon. Think about it. The deepest wounds rarely come from strangers. They come from the people we welcomed into our lives, the people we believed, the people we defended, the people we never imagined would betray us. And when that trust is broken, something inside us changes. We begin questioning everyone. We become cautious. Sometimes, we even lose faith in ourselves. But here's the truth most people never realize. The problem wasn't that you trusted. The problem was that you trusted. Without wisdom, the Stoics never taught us to become cold. They never taught us to live in fear of people. They taught something far more powerful. Observe first. Judge slowly. Trust carefully. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire filled with allies who became enemies, and enemies who later became allies. He understood something timeless. People don't always reveal who they are through their words. They reveal themselves through their repeated actions. Imagine building a house. Would you place the roof on a weak foundation? Of course not. Then why do so many people build relationships, friendships, and partnerships on promises instead of proof? Today, you're going to discover the Stoic principles that protect your peace without turning your heart to stone. Because wisdom isn't learning how to trust no one. It's learning how to trust the right people, for the right reasons, at the right time. Trust is one of the most valuable things you can give another person. Yet many people hand it away, within days, sometimes within minutes. A kind smile, confident words, a shared interest, and suddenly, they believe they've found someone they can depend on. But character cannot be discovered in a single conversation. It reveals itself over time. Imagine buying a beautifully wrapped gift. The wrapping looks perfect, elegant, expensive, carefully designed. But until you open the box, you have no idea what's inside. People can appear the same way. Charm is easy. Promises are easy. First impressions are easy. Consistency is rare. The Stoics believe that time is the greatest examiner of character. Anyone can pretend for a day. Some can pretend for a month. Very few can pretend for years. Sooner or later, every person's true nature becomes visible, not in moments of comfort, but in moments of pressure. Watch how people treat those who cannot benefit them. Watch how they react when things don't go their way. Watch whether their actions remain consistent when no reward is waiting. Because actions never become exhausted. Pretense eventually does. Real trust is never built through beautiful words. It's built through repeated evidence. One honest action, then another, and another. Trust should never be rushed, because what takes years to build can be destroyed in a single careless decision. Have you ever noticed that warning signs often seem obvious only after everything falls apart? Looking back, you remember the small lies, the broken promises, the moments your intuition whispered something isn't right, yet you ignored them. Why? Because hope is powerful, sometimes too powerful. When we want someone to be good, our minds begin editing reality. We explain away their behavior. They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. Everyone makes mistakes. Once, twice, again and again, until the exceptions quietly become the pattern. The Stoics warned against allowing emotion to replace judgment, not because emotions are bad, but because emotions can make us see the person we wish existed, instead of the person standing in front of us. Imagine a sailor ignoring dark clouds on the horizon. He tells himself, the storm probably won't come. But the sea doesn't change because of optimism. Reality always arrives. Life works the same way. Ignoring warning signs never removes danger. It only delays the moment you must face it. This doesn't mean becoming suspicious of everyone. It means learning to separate hope from evidence. Kindness is valuable. Compassion is noble, but wisdom asks one more question. What do this person's actions consistently reveal? Because repeated behavior is rarely an accident. It is a reflection of character, and character always speaks louder than intentions. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world where loyalty could change overnight. Friends became rivals. Trusted advisors betrayed him. Power tempted many people to hide their true intentions. Yet despite everything he experienced, he never became bitter. He became observant. Each morning, he reminded himself that he would meet people who were selfish, dishonest, ungrateful, or driven by pride. Not because he expected the worst from everyone, but because preparation protected his peace. When difficult people appeared, he wasn't shocked. He was ready. Marcus Aurelius understood a profound truth. You cannot control another person's character, but you can control how quickly you hand them access to your trust. Imagine walking into a forest at night. You don't assume every path is dangerous, but neither do you walk forward with your eyes closed. You pay attention. You observe. You move carefully until you understand the terrain. Relationships deserve the same wisdom. The Stoics believe that kindness without discernment becomes vulnerability, but discernment without kindness becomes isolation. True wisdom lives between those extremes. Be open, but not naive. Be compassionate, but not blind. Allow people the opportunity to earn your trust, rather than expecting your trust alone to change them. Because the strongest people aren't those who never trust anyone. They're the ones who have learned to combine an open heart with clear eyes. Words are easy. Anyone can promise loyalty. Anyone can speak with confidence. Anyone can tell you exactly what you want to hear. But actions require character. Imagine standing beside a tree in the middle of winter. It has no fruit, no flowers, no leaves. You don't judge it by what it claims to be. You wait. When the season changes, its true nature becomes impossible to hide. People are no different. Time reveals what words attempt to conceal. The Stoics believe that consistency is the language of character. Not one good deed, not one emotional apology, not one inspiring speech. Consistency. Watch what people do when no one is watching. Watch how they treat strangers. Watch whether they remain honest when dishonesty would benefit them. Watch whether they keep small promises. Because people who repeatedly break small promises often break bigger ones when the stakes become higher. Many people become disappointed because they fall in love with potential. They believe, one day they'll change. Perhaps they will. Perhaps they won't. But wisdom asks you to respond to who someone is today, not who you hope they become tomorrow. Because reality is always a safer foundation than imagination. Judge slowly, observe carefully, and remember, actions don't compete with words. They expose them. After betrayal, many people make the same mistake. They close their hearts. They stop trusting. They become suspicious of everyone they meet. At first, it feels like protection, but eventually, it becomes another kind of prison. The Stoics never encouraged bitterness. They encouraged wisdom. Imagine a castle surrounded by strong walls. The gates aren't permanently closed. They simply aren't open for everyone. That's what healthy boundaries look like. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to become cynical. You simply become more intentional about who enters your life. Kindness should remain part of your character, but access to your inner world must be earned. Remember, forgiving someone doesn't always mean inviting them back into your life. You can wish someone well, while still choosing distance. You can care about people, without allowing them to repeatedly disturb your peace. There is great strength in saying, I hope you find happiness, while also saying, I will no longer allow you to control mine. That isn't revenge. That isn't pride. It's self-respect. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's necessary, because when your inner world remains calm, You become capable of offering genuine kindness instead of exhausted compassion. The wisest people aren't those who trust no one. They're the ones who understand that trust grows. It isn't granted overnight. Imagine building a bridge across a river. You wouldn't drive a heavy vehicle across it before testing its strength. You would examine the foundation, check every support, allow time to prove that it can carry the weight. Relationships deserve the same patience. Trust is not built through excitement. It's built through repeated evidence. One honest conversation, one kept promise, one difficult moment handled with integrity, then another, and another. This is how confidence in another person naturally grows. The Stoics believe that patience protects both your heart and your judgment, because time reveals patterns, and patterns reveal character. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people arrive to teach you wisdom. Some arrive to challenge your boundaries. Some arrive to remind you of the importance of discernment. Instead of regretting every betrayal, be grateful for every lesson, because each experience teaches you how to recognize genuine character more clearly than before. Over time, you'll stop asking, "Can I trust this person?" and begin asking, "Have they consistently demonstrated that they deserve my trust?" That one question can protect years of peace. Life will introduce you to many faces. Some will smile while hiding selfish intentions. Others will appear ordinary, yet remain loyal through every storm. Your task is not to become fearful of people. Your task is to become wise enough to recognize the difference. Don't rush relationships. Don't confuse attention with loyalty. Don't mistake charm for character. Give people the opportunity to reveal themselves through time, because time has a remarkable habit of uncovering what appearances cannot. One day, you'll look back and realize that the greatest protection wasn't learning how to read every person perfectly. It was learning to slow down, to observe, and to trust with wisdom instead of impulse. The people who deserve a place in your life will never be threatened by your patience, because genuine character doesn't fear being observed. It welcomes it. And once you learn this, you'll stop giving your trust away carelessly and start giving it where it truly belongs. That is not suspicion. That is wisdom. And wisdom has a quiet way of protecting the peace that impulsive trust often destroys. If this message gave you a new perspective on trust and relationships, subscribe and continue this journey toward wisdom, self-mastery, and lasting inner peace. Every lesson you apply helps you build stronger judgment, healthier boundaries, and a calmer mind. And remember, trust is not built by beautiful words. It is built by consistent actions. Observe patiently, choose wisely, and let character reveal itself over time.